It was a bikini photo that did it. Her audience seemed divided. Was it right for a 29-year-old mum influencer who sails the world to reveal so much in a photo on her Instagram feed? Some of the fans of the highly popular YouTube show Sailing the Vagabonde clearly didn't like it, but instead of reacting by cowering and apologising, she fought back. And by the look of the number of likes, the vast majority of her audience seemed to be on her side. So what could our organisations learn from influencers like Elena who stick to their guns? Could they deliberately fight back and even build brand loyalty by doing so? There are global firms out there who have. And is it ever safe to try to stick to your guns in this modern era of public relations? Well, let's see. Happy New Year and welcome back to the Public Relations Podcast. By the way, thank you for all your messages over the past few weeks encouraging me to do more of these sort of PR moment reviews. It seems you really liked the assessment of the Balenciaga crisis recently when I used my journalism and PR career and past to analyse what they did. And I've had some great conversations with people about that from the USA, UK and a new country actually for the show, Nigeria, this week as well. By the way, if you want to reach out to me, your ideas about this episode as well, you'll find me on LinkedIn under the name Richard Midson. That's Richard Midson, Midson. So I am holding my phone in my hand right now, and I am just having a look through some of the comments on Elena's Instagram feed. Both posts that she put out, the first one and the second one, got around 50,000 likes, despite the critical comments on there. And to give you a bit of background on Elena Caruso and her partner, Riley Whitelam, they travel the world on this boat called Le Vagabonde with their 2 young children. The show's been going for a few years. The show is a sort of mix of a travel vlog, family Robinson, with the family traveling a simple life through beautiful, often sort of exotic scenery. It's escapism, and there's no getting away from it. They are a good-looking couple. It's the perfect mix for social media today. So on the 1st of January, if I look at this one, 4 days ago, as I record this episode right now, Elena released a number of photos of her wearing what can only be described as quite a small bikini, with the caption, "Inspirational quote about the new year to give herself an excuse to post a meaningless bikini photo shoot, W butt pics, Happy New Year" in capital letters. The response from some was, here we go, "I'm out, not respectful." Another one here says, "I just think about what all the young girls see when they look at a role model exposing herself like this." Now then, on the other side of the argument, there are plenty too. Now, I'm not going to quote them here, as some of them are, well, quite blunt, but let's just say fiercely defensive. Elena then replies 2 days later with more swimsuit pictures and this comment she's written, "I'm a mother of 2 and I'm running a bikini company. If you find my twice-a-year butt pics too much, then really thank you for following, but we've grown apart, and it's probably best if we move on," and then a smiley. And then if you scroll down the comments on the second post, you find more negative comments, ironically, with some of the people who said they were stopping following them the first time in the first post still commenting. So was she right to do this? As always, this show is not about the morals of what should be posted on social media. There's plenty of shows covering that sort of thing. This is about the PR perspective. So what can we learn from the way she fought back, whether it was about pictures like this or any criticism of any organisation? Anyone in PR in any organisation in 2023 knows the risks of cancel culture and public shaming, right? Let's face it, PR people are very much in demand these days for that very reason. And for many organisations faced with criticism, the response then is either to go quiet, a topic which actually I'm going to talk about next week after a request from a listener, or to release a short statement with a vague acknowledgement that the organisation supports whichever is the loudest voice and narrative on that topic that day. Now, this is a very valid and very good strategy, but could they instead fight back and increase the loyalty of their core base, and if you're selling things, the sales from the people who most matter to them? The simple fact is, and we all know this, having an opinion means dividing people. It doesn't matter whether you are Will Smith, Kim Kardashian, or the local widget shop maker. If you have an opinion, some people will agree, some people won't. This is why in political PR, you're not going to win an election if you have 2 clear-cut opinions. So often political language is designed to sound like it means what the listener wants to hear rather than getting specific. But what if you are clear? What if you do get specific? Dividing people can have an upside. Now, the psychological proof of this can be seen across history. As humans, we feel more strongly bonded to people who share our views and our opinions. Propagandists throughout time have used this to identify an enemy because nothing unites people better than highlighting how others disagree with you and your core supporters or the people in your country. Cults, and there's actually some really great books on this that I've been reading, use the same strategy to create a sense of belonging, which, as we know, can reach obsessive levels and often, sadly, dangerous levels in some cults. When we divide opinion, we start to play into this psychology, which is built into all of us. So dividing opinion increases loyalty, but it also means you lose people, right? Yes, but who are you losing? Elena and Riley know what their core fans want. They know they're attractive. They know, you can see this by their thumbnails that they use. They know what works in the data. And by delivering what the core fans want, they delight them more, which leads to more support and presumably more purchases of their merchandise as well. The people they lose are the outliers. Put it another way, if we talk about avatars, upsetting your core avatar personality is going to be a ticket to disaster. But upsetting people who are not your core avatar or are outliers is going to have far less impact. If the people we lose are not our core customers or supporters and may cost more time and effort to nurturing them compared to your true avatar fans, then does it matter? Would it be better to spend that time in focusing on the people who are the best converters, the best loyal people to you? Dividing people then clearly works. Does Apple try to win over avid Windows users? No, because hardcore Windows fans will stick with Windows. The same is true with Apple fans. This furious battle between these platforms actually helps both sides, as it makes the fans of each platform more passionate and more vocal and turns them not just into customers, but obsessive customers who will buy nothing else. And that's exactly what has happened here. When Elena released her second Instagram post, it gained nearly 50,000 likes and just a handful of critical comments. Looking at the numbers, it's clear which side her core fans are on. So there clearly are benefits, but is it worth the risk? If you're like me, you're probably feeling nervous about this whole topic from a PR perspective. As usual, when you look at how people have approached this and it's worked, it does depend a bit on the circumstances. So let's look at a couple of cases. The first one, is the opinion or action to be defended clearly defined? If it is, then will that opinion shared today be acceptable in 5 years' time? Being on the winning side of history has helped and certainly hurt many figures. Supporting an idea that seems normal now could be ridiculed in 5 to 10 years. Getting it wrong could end a company, personality, or politician. Certainly happened plenty of times. The safer approach, I think, and we can see this in the examples I'm about to give, is to make your initial response more generic, just like political language. In other words, you're going to tie a narrative that anyone can accept into what you are doing. So, for example, let's take Elon Musk in his pre-Twitter days when he was interviewed at the Met Gala last year. I don't know whether you remember that. He was asked, why are you doing all this stuff when you could be giving money to charity and saving lives, curing cancer, etc.? The emotion in the question is hard to respond to, right? But the first thing he did was to find a common narrative that was hard to argue with, and then backed up what he was doing in relation to that. He fought back, but by bridging his answer to a safer narrative. This is what he actually said. Well, I do a lot of things philanthropically, and really my companies are intended to do good for the future of humanity. There's the generic line. He then goes on to mention how he's developing sustainable transport and energy with electric cars, how SpaceX is providing internet to the least served people around the world, and how he's using Starlink to provide the internet to Ukraine. When you look at it and analyze this is the same approach Elena's taken there. She said, I'm a mum. She said, I work hard. I'm proud of my body. She addressed her perspective with common themes that are hard to argue with. Key themes like mum, works hard, has a business. That was the main theme. She said that and then said, although more directly than Musk, that she was then going to carry on posting pictures just like this. She got her common theme and then brought in what she was going to carry on doing anyway related to that. I think there's another factor as well which organizations can use if they want to start getting opinionated. Both Musk, pre-Twitter, and Elena have built up a good body of social narrative to the point that momentum was very much on their side. Musk was the pioneer taking on the petrol-guzzling cars and inspiring us with a vision of the future. In the Vagabonde, Elena and Riley spent a lot of their time talking about environmentalism, eating healthy food, cleaning up waste, etc. They even sailed the environmentalist Greta Thunberg across the Atlantic on their boat. In the Vagabonde, they often go spearfishing. Well, this is where they dive into the ocean with large spears and shoot and capture fish. And with a very vocal lobby now around animal cruelty, it was inevitable that would get criticism, but they fought back again there. They explained how they eat everything, how they pick only certain types of fish, etc. But they also had momentum on the side. They built up such a large amount of social capital with their core fans that critics were not able to derail them through this particular angle. So building social capital in advance of getting into the opinion game can certainly help organizations who want to get into this when we look at others. So what can we pull from all this as a conclusion? Well, I've added some more detailed observations to the resources section of the website at thepublicrelationspodcast.com already, and they'll also appear in next week's newsletter, which you can sign up to on the same address. But in short, it's a dangerous game, getting into the opinion game, but it clearly can work. It can increase your core fan support and obsession. And if you build that social capital first and use a socially acceptable frame to justify the actions you have no intention of changing, it is clearly shown to work for others. As I say, more already in the resources section of the website and in next week's newsletter as well. It is pretty clear, though, for Elena and Riley, they know what works for their core audience. They have plenty of social capital, and by having opinions, they've helped to boost the loyalty of their fan base. And what's the proof? Well, as I say, they're paying for a very huge, very big boat. If you've got this far, then I know you are a fan of the show. So let me share 4 more things with you just quickly. Firstly, have you stuck to your guns? I would love to know. One, or equally, have you tried and it went badly? You can tell me anonymously, if you like, via direct message. LinkedIn is Richard Midson again, MIDSON. I would love to know. So even if we don't say who you are, I would love to share more experiences on this particular topic on the episode. Secondly, next Tuesday, when is it a good idea for your organization to stay quiet as a general position? And can you rise from a generally negative narrative about you? Thirdly, I'm going to start doing a few shorter episodes every so often during the week, but I'll try to make Tuesday's episode the main one each week. And finally, if you got this far, as this is right near the end of the show, I know you are the biggest listeners, so let me get you on, right? I want to celebrate your PR successes in 2023 on this show. So have a look at the website, and there's a section you'll see there. If you click at the top, more, click on that, and then appear as a guest, and click on one of those links and you'll find out loads more about it. Let's chat. I would love to hear about what you're up to in 2023 and your successes. All this talk of sailing makes you want to enjoy some sunshine, doesn't it? If you're in winter, then I hope your first few weeks back in the PR world are treating you well. If you're in summer, then remember, there are emails waiting inside. Have an absolutely awesome week, and I'll speak to you real soon.